Exhale Retreat, my why and why you need it. This is the retreat that I have been wanting to create for so many years. And there came a point where it needed to happen. And that's exactly why we're doing it. Because if you've been following along here for a little while, you'll know that I've been through my own body burnout journey. I suffered from adrenal fatigue. I had serious gut issues. There was brain fog. I was grumpy. And I was just at a point where I felt like I was completely falling to pieces. And it was years and years of chronic stress that had got me to that particular point. And I needed to find a way out, and I needed to find a different way through that. And this retreat is the culmination of all of the things that I have found, that I have experienced, that I have put into my own toolkit to support me to getting to the place that I am now, where I am a completely different person. I feel so alive. I feel so rejuvenated. And I have so much more energy to be able to put back into my business and into my family and all of the other things that are really, really important to me. So that is why I decided to bring this retreat to life. I felt like there was nothing else in the market that was really speaking to this, because I sit in a very corporate world. You know, you guys are the people that I get to speak to on a day-to-day basis. You're not sitting in or exposed to so much of, that the woo-woo. And I love the woo-woo, but I also understand it's not for everybody. And so I wanted to create a space where you could get a taste of some of these alternative healing modalities, to understand your body in a different way, to understand the physiological impact that stress has on our bodies. And I know that we are all experiencing chronic stress because that's the life that we lead, particularly in our corporate worlds. And I wanted to create a space where you could step away from all of that noise, all of that stress for a moment, and to just create some time and space to really rejuvenate yourself, to create a opportunity for you to refill your tank, to get clarity on where it is that you're going and what it is that you want from your one precious life, and how your business can actually then be shaped to support and enable that. And the reason that I ended up in my own body burnout is, yes, there's a physiological thing that happens to our bodies that ends up in that point, but it is a bunch of psychological things that we have done along the way. It's, redundant trauma that we've been storing in our body. It is the impact of chronic stress, and chronic stress is coming from our perception of the way that we see the world around us, the choices that we make, the belief systems that we have. And I want to create a space where you could have more knowledge of those things, because we don't get taught this stuff. We go to the GP, we get told, take a pill, do this, but there's so much more that we can do from a preventative standpoint to support our own nervous system, our well-being and our healing. And this was the journey that I went on. This constant living in this fight-flight state was something that I ended up experiencing quite significantly for myself. I got stuck there. I didn't know how to get out of a fight-flight state. And these are the things that we don't learn. And I really wanted to be able to share that with you, because when you're living in that fight or flight state, you are in that constant alertness. You're constantly on, you're constantly scanning for threats. Every little thing that goes wrong, you just explode at. I became dragon mum. Every time the kids did something, I was like flying off the handle, and I didn't have that regulation to be able to kind of keep myself calm. It also made me a really unpredictable leader, because my team didn't know what to expect from me. I couldn't make decisions clearly. It was impacting every different part of my life. And so all of these things have come together to create my own experience and my own healing journey. And this is what I want to be sharing with people. And that is exactly why I have created Exhale. Now, the reason I've called it Exhale is because beautiful Brené Brown, one of my inspirations, she shared a story in one of her books, Braving the Wilderness, about how she was to present on the stage the following day with another mentor. And the mentor said to her, I'm going to go and take the night off. I'm not going to go to the social dinners. I'm not going to do anything because I need to rejuvenate myself for the next day. And she said, sometimes you just need to take that time to actually pause and to have that exhale, because what happens is we're constantly inhaling, and we need to just stop sometimes and exhale and take that moment and take that pause, because that is where we will be able to come back to ourselves, to create that space and to create that opportunity for us to really revitalize and rejuvenate ourselves. Now, who is this retreat for? This retreat is for women who are ambitious, they're driven, they're in business, they're either excelling at the top of their career or they are owning and running their own businesses. They're usually probably in their 30s to 50s because that's the age group that we are kind of in this state. And I find this because myself in my mid 40s is that I think that over time we get to a point where our body just says, I've accumulated enough, I've put up with enough, and I'm done. And that's when we start to notice all of these things appearing in our body. We might be on the verge of perimenopause, we might be going into menopause. There's lots of change that is happening physiologically already in our body. And we've got this buildup of stuff that we have potentially left unprocessed for a really long time. And so I wanted to create a space where these women who are always on, managing households, running children around, dealing with everything, running businesses, leading teams, and then also leading households, to have space, to just stop, to take that moment to reconnect with themselves and give themselves a rest, because we are always on. And the other thing that I think happens is where, I've been through this process myself. You're constantly climbing that corporate ladder. You're constantly going after that next thing. You've got a next goal. You want to just keep driving forward. But with that, you may not have taken the opportunity to stop and actually redefine what success looks like for you. And that is something that I know personally, is because we are living in a world where we're told what we should be doing and how we should be doing this and how we should be growing and how we should be leading. But what happens is we can end up looking really successful on paper. We might be having the really growing business. We might be having a thriving bank balance as a result. But inside, we don't feel aligned. We don't feel alive. We don't feel rejuvenated or excited about the career we've chosen or the business that we've got. And we're just left feeling really uninspired. And I wanted to create this space where we could take that step back and actually reconnect with what it is that makes us feel alive. It makes us feel joy, and then work out how we can create that back in our businesses and in our lives. And this is that moment to do that. It's that time to exhale, to just pause and then reevaluate exactly what it is that you want to be creating. Now, I think that this retreat is absolutely necessary for any women who are at that peak of their career and in business, because I have the opportunity to go into so many different organizations and work with so many people in that private one-to-one coaching space. And what I see is that these women, even men, like I don't even want to discriminate between male and female here. I see people on the edge of burnout or in burnout, and they don't even realize. And I'm saying this without any judgment at all, because I was exactly the same. I had no idea that that was where I was at, because as far as I was concerned, I hadn't collapsed. I hadn't ended up in hospital. So therefore, there must be still more in the tank for me to give, and I haven't hit my peak yet. So just keep going. But what I see time and time again is people who are completely burnt out. They're frazzled. They're not sleeping. They're struggling with gut issues and things constantly. And they don't realize it's their nervous system crying out for support to actually help them feel rejuvenated and alive again. And this is why I think this retreat is absolutely necessary, because whether you're male or female, having this space to step away and to really reevaluate where it is that you're doing, where you're going, and how you want to get there, whilst taking care of yourself, is so important. Because at the end of the day, if you do not have your health, you have nothing. You don't have a business because you can't show up every day. And I had this conversation with my accountant 2 years ago, and it absolutely hit me home when I was in the thick of this burnout, was that if I didn't take care of me, who was going to be showing up to lead my business? There was nobody else. There was no backup plan. There was nobody else was going to be stepping in and taking care of all of those things that need to be taken care of except me. So I have to take care of me first. Otherwise, there's nothing left to worry about. It just doesn't happen. So the other thing that I've experienced too is that, my personal experience with the health system is that it's very much once you've got to the point, you've got the disease, you've got the symptoms, you've got the issues, and then it's a Band-Aid fix, but without going back and dealing with the original root cause. And that's where burnout continues to accumulate, because we're not changing our behavior patterns. We're not changing the way that we process things. We're not changing the way that we eat or exercise or how much hydration we take in or the mindset shifts that we need. And I think that's where we need to be coming back and really having a deeper look at what's going on for us to be able to kind of step forward and create that life that we really, really want to be creating. Now, what I wanted to do with this retreat is I wanted to blend two things here, because I know as a busy business owner, taking time out of my business is hard. It's a dedication, and I want to completely acknowledge that, because I'm asking you to take a day and a half, 2 days out of your busy schedule, take 2 days out of your weekend, which you could be spending with your family, and invest them in you. And I need to make sure that this retreat is going to give you a return on investment to make that time worthwhile. And I know that that is a big ask for you, and I want to make sure that I'm delivering on it. And I absolutely will be, because when you come on this retreat, you will walk away with so much more clarity around the next steps that are going to be happening in your business, because you'll know by reducing all of that external noise and coming back to your center. And I'll explain to you how we're going to do that. You will have that crystal clear clarity about where you are going, because you have tuned back into yourself, your intuition, what you know to be true about you and your business. That is the ultimate outcome that you will get from this retreat. And you cannot get that from sitting in your desk or going to work every day or sitting in your car in the commute. It just doesn't come. And I know this firsthand, because I have been on many different retreats, business retreats, health retreats, but this is going to bring the two together. And the opportunity to spend time around other like-minded people with different perspectives, sharing how they address their challenges in their business, how they operationalize things, it will spark new ideas for you to see some of the things that are happening in your business in a completely new way. You will be able to come back and know exactly what's working in your business and what you intend to continue to invest in. You'll know exactly what you need to stop doing that is not moving the needle forward, has drifted you off course, is no longer in alignment with where you want to be going. And you know exactly what you need to create, because you now have the clarity to see the gaps and go, this is what's missing and this is where I need to go. You're going to have so much inspiration as well, because you are going to be deeply immersed in nature. And I can tell you the things that happen inside our body and inside our brains from being reconnected with the natural world is where we get so much inspiration. It starts to come through. And that energy that you will get from being in this space and reconnecting with yourself and with that wider environment is going to change how productive you are and how strategic you are. You will stop being reactive. You will start being proactive, because you can see where you're going. And the other thing that you'll get from this weekend is so much more nervous system regulation. And when we are in our calm, rest and digest state, we will respond. We don't react. And this is where that overwhelm and flying off the handle and those knee-jerk reactions that we get when we're in a heightened stress state all gets quietened down. And we'll be showing you how to do that and taking home so many of these tools with you as well. It's not something you're just going to experience once while you're in this beautiful container of space. These are tools that you will be able to take away from this retreat and use in everyday life. Your leadership presence will inspire your team. It will inspire your clients. It will inspire your family, because when you are much more calm and regulated, your presence is going to be so much more focused. You know what your priorities are. You know where you need to be spending your time. And these are all the tools that I'm going to be teaching you so that you can be far more effective without burning out. Because one of the things that I struggled to really understand was, how can I continue to do all of the things that I want to do when those are the things that have been burning me out? How can I continue to have the business and the lifestyle that I desire without it burning me out? And all of that comes back to how you can hold capacity. And it's capacity in our nervous system. It means that you can hold more without it draining you, without it feeling like a heavy weight. And so you can have the business that you want. You can have the lifestyle that you want, and exactly the way that you are living, but by building that internal capacity. And that comes by changing the inputs, the way that we feel about things, and widening our window of tolerance, which you're going to learn about while you are on this retreat with me. Now, I've kind of hinted at a couple of times, this is a much more holistic approach to looking after ourselves, which means that you are going to be learning about nervous system regulation, how you can confidently move yourself out of that fight, flight, freeze state. Because when we get stuck there, that's when all of our nervous system starts to go into overdrive. And that's when we're in that reactive, aggressive, angry, frustrated, shut down, numb, just want to hide away from the world, those states. And I got stuck there myself. I had no idea how to get back out of that state, back into this rest and digest state. But I now have a toolkit. I have an understanding of how my body works. I know what I can do to shift that state really, really quickly. And I'm going to be sharing all of that with you on this retreat so that you can do it. In addition to that, you're also going to be having daily meditation to help quieten your mind and your body and come back and get really present with yourself and reconnect with your own body. You're going to be experiencing daily gentle movement with our beautiful yoga practitioner, Heidi, guiding us through those movements as well. You're going to experience breath work with the beautiful Amber Hawken. And my own experience with breath work is such a transformational thing. I don't know why I have taken so long to really connect with this, because it helps to shift so much what I describe as stagnant energy that gets stuck in your body out of your system. And when we can shift everything that feels like it's kind of weighing us down and clogging us up, that is when that internal capacity starts to come, because you're no longer got all of this junk inside you that is just sitting there rent free. You get rid of it all and it creates space for you to be able to hold something new. And so I can't wait for you to experience the breath work with Amber. We're also going to have a beautiful sound healing journey with the lovely Courtney from Heart Resonance. So she is going to be drifting us off to sleep one night with a beautiful sound healing lullaby. And the impact of these vibrations that you get from the music and how it starts to shift things in your body and change your internal frequency is just incredible. And I know that all sounds like a little bit woo-woo and a bit cuckoo, but trust me, when you experience this, the shift that happens in your body, the way that things move, we are all water. And if you look at water, the smallest breath on a pool of water creates a ripple. And that ripple is a vibration. And when we add sound to our environment, it shifts how our internal body is responding. And so you can do this deliberately when you understand how all of these mechanics within your body start to work. And so I'm going to be sharing that with you too. We've also got the lovely Kerry Krieger coming along. Kerry is an acupuncturist and Chinese medicine practitioner. She specializes in women's health, in perimenopause, and she's going to be sharing with us how we can start to optimize our health and our well-being for vitality, how we can start to work with our natural biological rhythms rather than against them, and how we can start to incorporate that into our day-to-day lives so that we can really begin to thrive. Because I think there's women, we work against ourselves so much because we're trying to live in this man's world that has been created as very masculine energy, driving and striving constantly. But when we can actually stop and understand how this is actually impacting our body and work with our natural cycles, the amount of energy that we have when we are in flow rather than force is just incredible. So I can't wait to have those conversations with her as well. And as I said, in addition to all of this, we're going to be having lots of conversations around how this applies back to our business, our vision, where we're going, what's important to us. And all of this is going to help us really reconnect with that intuition. Because I think, again, in this busy world, we take so much external noise in that we forget to tune back into ourselves, to that gut feeling, that knowing that we have about what is right and wrong for us. And I really want to help you reconnect with that. And that's exactly where this space is going to come from. So once you've finished with this retreat, you can expect so much more energy, so much more clarity. I really want to reignite that fire within you, refresh your mind, refresh your body and your spirit. I want you to be able to show up fully at work and at home. And I want to give you a lot of strategies for you to be able to sustain this well-being long after this retreat. And I want you to be able to do it knowing that it's not at the sacrifice or expense of you having to lose your ambition or that drive or that dream that you've got for the business that you want to create. I want you to find clarity. I want you to rediscover your own passions and the tools to support your work-life balance. I want you to have really clear clarity on what's next for your business and what's happening in your life. And I want you to be able to create a business that supports the lifestyle that you want to create. Because at the end of the day, if we're not creating businesses that give us the life that we want, what is the point? And I know that I have been through so many of my own evolutions trying to tweak and change and continue to evolve my business to create the life that I need. And that's going to continue to change because my life changes. My life, the season of life that I'm in continues to change. So as that season continues to change and shift, I need my business to adapt and change with it. And this is giving you the permission and the space for you to be able to start to look at that. I want you to be able to build connection with the women that are coming. These women are other ambitious, driven women who have big dreams. They have big goals for their businesses, but they're not going to do it at the expense of their health. And this is about showing you how you can have both and how to balance them in a way that works for you and the life that you want to create. And this isn't about short term, this is long term. This will ripple out into every aspect of your life, your relationships, your career, your overall sense of well-being. This is about how you can start caring for yourself and how it's going to create healthier relationships in your world. It's going to enable you to make smarter business decisions because you've got the clarity and the capacity to think clearly and act decisively because you know exactly where you're going and what's right and what's not for you. You're going to have more creativity and innovation because when we have space, that is where creativity comes from. And as women, we are highly creative beings. We create babies. We create inadvertently, we are creators. And so I want you to tap back into that energy and know that you have that potential to take back into your business. And I want you to have a greater capacity to lead and to lead with impact. Because I know that as purpose-driven women, that is what we are here to lead with impact. Now, I can't emphasize the aspect of community enough. If you know me, you know that that is what I'm all about. My business is called Community. The purpose of our business is to foster the creation of connection where let me start that again, is to foster the creation of community where people feel connected. I want you to find your place at work and in life. It's all about connection. It's all about creating community, having a sense of belonging, knowing that you're among people who believe what you believe. That is what this is about. And you are going to have such an incredible opportunity to connect with these women that are coming and to build lifelong friendships, to learn from them, to share with them, to celebrate with them. That is what this is about. And in this this retreat, when we get people together in an intimate setting for a few days, this is a transformation that lasts for so much longer after. Now, I've given you a really deep dive into what's going on here. The other thing that you can expect, I forgot, is the nutritional element. This is all going to be completely catered for you. You will not have to lift a finger. Once you get here, you will be waited on hand and foot. All of our food is going to be prepared by our retreat chefs. This is what they do. They create incredible food, and we are doing it in a way of an adrenal diet. Now, adrenal diet is all about supporting your adrenals, so you're not putting extra load on your system. It's about eating light, fresh, organic, locally available produce, and I can tell you it is delicious. The food will be refined sugar-free, gluten-free, mostly dairy-free with a little bit of maybe halloumi or feta on the side as your option. It is going to absolutely tantalize your taste buds. I have experienced their culinary cuisine firsthand, and it is delightful. So I cannot wait for you to experience the food on this retreat. You will be so surprised at how great gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free food can taste. It is absolutely magic. So I want you to come along on this journey with me over the next few weeks. I'm going to be dropping in with some episodes that are coming live to you from a series of Instagram lives that I'm going to be doing with both our retreat facilitators that are going to be joining us, some of our guests that are joining us, and some of our support crew who are going to be along for the journey as well, because I want you to see different aspects of this. I want you to get a taste of what the experience is that you're going to feel from this retreat by the modalities and what our retreat facilitators are going to be sharing with you. I want you to understand what caused other people or inspired other people to say yes to themselves so that you can potentially see yourself in that journey. You'll also get to start to meet some of the retreat guests before you've even arrived. So I really would love you to either join me live over on Instagram. You can find me at Melmar, Melmar. And if you follow along there, I'll be telling you when those lives are coming up. You can come and join me live, or keep popping back in here on the podcast and you'll be able to tune into them here as well. Once they've been recorded, we'll drop them in here so that you can have a listen in and experience all the goodness that is going to happen on this retreat. But I would love you to come and check out our the page, telling you all about all the nitty-gritty details of what you can experience. If you head to my website, melissamarsden.com.au, you will find at the very top of my homepage, there's a link there that will take you through to the retreat. You'll also find it in the show notes, or if you're watching along here on Instagram, it's in the bio. Go and check it out. It is going to be one magical, magical weekend. It's happening on October the 23rd to the 26th. It's happening in the beautiful Tweed Valley. It is a pristine piece of land that has been very rarely touched and has got such an incredible energy to it. And that is half the magic of this experience. That is why I have chosen this location, because it is just magic. And I can't wait for you to join me and to experience it yourself, because this weekend is not just a holiday. This is a strategic reset for your business. It's a strategic reset for you. And you are going to walk away with so much more clarity, so much more energy, and with tools, experiences, knowledge to live and to lead differently in your life and in your business. So follow along for those upcoming Instagram lives that I'm going to be dropping in to give you a taste of this experience. Head over to the website, melissamarsden.com.au, check it out, and I can't wait to welcome you to joining me and exhaling.